Hey fly girls, it's your girl TR Brianna. Don't you forget it, welcome back to my channel. If you are not a subscriber, go ahead and click that subscribe button. What are you doing? Like legit, what are you doing? And if you are a returning subscriber, I greatly appreciate you all. We are almost at 500 subscribers and that is literally amazing. You've been with me for a while. Like some of you guys like just joined, but like some of y'all really been with me since I started my channel like years ago, so appreciate you. Today's video, we are going to do a flight attendant Q&A. If you don't follow me on Instagram, I like to engage a lot on there, but I did make a post about people who had questions, and I'm pulling out my phone because the questions are on my phone, but I made a post about people who had questions about the airline industry and any type of flight attendant question in general. I feel like if you have a job in the airline industry, especially as a flight attendant, ramper, customer service, whatever it might be, it's a little bit hard to figure out like how to get in the door. And so I'm here to answer any questions that you might have. So the very first question that we have is, how do you even become a flight attendant? That sounds and looks like a dream job. This job is amazing. It's a great job, but like every other job, it has its pros and it has its cons. How do you become a flight attendant? And I'm going straight off of the dome. Do your research, go on the company's website and go in their career section and literally type in flight attendant, and it will let you know like if there's an application up or if there's not an application up. A lot of times you really have to, I don't want to say stalk, but you really got to know when they're going to post the application, because a lot of times they might post it, like my company only posts it for one day for a few hours and that's it. You might have other airlines who I post it for a few days, but it's not necessarily a big announcement. You really only hear it by hearsay from other airline employees. So what you can do is when you go on the career page, make sure you subscribe to their career email. That way you can be aware or notified when the position is open and when you can apply. That way you can go ahead and create your own profile on there and you'll be ready to immediately put in that application when they do post it, because when they post those applications, like I said, sometimes it's only up there for a few hours. Another thing that helped me out too when knowing, you know, how to even become a flight attendant or how to apply, I follow this blog called Deanna Future Flight Attendant, and she literally posts everything about the airline industry, about different airlines and how their processes work. And she also posts who is hiring on a daily basis, from regional airlines to main lines, you know, to I don't really remember what they call it, low-cost carriers. There we go, low-cost carriers, all types of airlines. She lets you know when they will be hiring. So I think that's definitely a good blog to follow, because again, you'll know instantly. And that's something that helped me out, because I honestly didn't know, you know, who was hiring and when they were hiring. And sometimes it could take you weeks to get hired. It can take you months. My first airline, I flew for SkyWest Airlines. It's a regional carrier, and it literally took me like 3 weeks to a month to fully get that you got the job. And with my current airline now, it took me 9 months to get an interview. So again, I would say that when you do put that application in there, and when it is time for you to put that application in, do it right when they post it, so that way they can get back to you quicker. And of course, there's different keywords and things that should be on your resume as well, but we can get into that later or in another video if you're interested. Second question, and this is for my girl Mamba. Love you, sis. Second question is, what is your schedule and off time like? How is it not living in your base? So we're gonna break this down into two questions. What is your schedule and off time like? This is different for every airline, because you know, each airline does their own thing. My airline, we only do 3-day trips, which I love, and that's a week. So 4 weeks in a month, 3 trips in a week, that's 12 trips. So, well, 4 trips, but that's 12 days, so sorry. So 12 out of 30 or 31 days in a month, I am working. It's literally like a part-time job, really, at that point. You can pick up as many trips as you'd like, and you can clear your whole board, meaning you don't have to work those trips as long as somebody else covers it for you. I work at, I believe, the only airline that allows you to work as many hours as you want and to not work at all and still keep your benefits. So that's what I love. Also, I believe that I also work at the most flexible airline out there, just saying. But my schedule is flexible. If you want to work another job while being a flight attendant, you can most definitely do that. If you own your own business and you're a flight attendant, I've seen people do it. It is literally, it's amazing. I love it. This is probably the only job that I would work. And I love what I do. I love meeting new people. I love making people's day. So yeah, that's pretty much what the schedule is like, and the off time is like. So I work 12 days on, 18 days off. Sometimes you might get a weird schedule where you might work 14 days or 13 days, but for the most part, like 90% of the time, it'll be the 12 days on, 18 days off. How is it not living in your base? So I am a commuter flight attendant, meaning that I have to commute to work. So just like you drive to work every day, I have to fly to work. And so it can be a lot not living in your base, because your days off turn into days where you have to commute to work. So say I might be off 4 days in a row. Well, really I'm only off 3 days in a row, because that 4th day I'm trying to make it to work so that way I'm there the next day. Essentially, you have to live within 2 hours from your base. So when crew scheduling calls you and they're like, hey, we have a trip for you, you got to be able to get there within those 2 hours. So it's always best to either fly in the night before, or if you already know your trip, like you already have a trip and you're not on call, you're not on reserve, then you can fly in the same day and make sure you're in a few hours before your trip starts. But being a commuter flight attendant, again, it can get exhausting sometimes, because your off day does turn into a commuting day. But I don't think it's that bad, especially if you're commuting somewhere that you live close to. When I used to live in Phoenix, Arizona, I was based in Vegas, and that was only a 45-minute flight, so it was not that bad. And there were a lot of hotels and crash pads by the airport to stay at. Now my commute is a little bit longer. It's about 2 hours, 2 to 2.5 hours. But my base that I'm at, it has a lot of hotels, it has a lot of crash pads that are walking distance to the airport. Sometimes when you don't live in your base, not even sometimes, you will spend money on trying to find somewhere to stay, but it also depends. Are you going to be a crash pad girly? Are you going to be a hotel girly? Like I stayed in a crash pad. I split hotels with some of my cohorts, and I'm a crew room girly too. If I know that, especially if I self-assign a trip, yeah, I'm gonna fly the last flight of the night. I'll chill in the crew room for a few hours until my flight. So it's all about making it work at the end of the day. Not living in your base, it's literally all about making it work. But again, just find ways to save money, meal prep, but you will be spending money being a commuter, just saying. What is the pay lag? Well, baby, like I said, you're basically working a part-time job. So if you're not picking up trips, what are you doing, honey? Or you might have another job and you don't have to pick up trips to make more money. This industry is seniority based. It's all about seniority. Every year you will get a raise. So it's literally started at the bottom, now you here. You know what I'm saying? The more time you put into the company, the more money that you'll be making. But don't get me wrong, you still can make money. Even when you're new and you're starting at the bottom, you gotta work. A lot of people are like, oh my gosh, I didn't make any money. Baby, you gotta work. Or like, my company has different ways where you can make a little bit extra on certain days, or if you work certain positions, or if you do international trips. So again, you just gotta figure out what works for you. I worked my first regional airline, started off at $20.55. You have airlines that start you off at $25, $29. I think Delta is the highest paying now with $32. Don't quote me on that. But it's just literally, you know, you gotta milk it. You gotta make it work for you. But you can most definitely make money starting off. But again, the pay is low if you're only working the trips that you're working. So yeah, you do have to find ways to make money and make it work for you. Who are they looking for? What are the types of people that these airlines are looking for? Of course, if you worked with people, if you did any customer service, if you worked in anything that involves security, if you're a nurse, I've worked with nurses, I've worked with police officers, detectives, servers. I literally worked with everybody. I think you just honestly have to be yourself and be a people's person, making sure that you are able to keep people safe. But I think that they're looking for people who are simply themselves and who are simply wanting to bring more and better to their company, and honestly being people's persons. Y'all know what to do when you go to an interview. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying like, oh, you have to be a different person, but literally just be yourself. But you, as long as you have experience working with people in whatever field that might be in, I think that's who they're looking for. But also too, and this goes into my next question, how to choose the right airline for you. Do your research when it comes to the airlines that you work for, especially if you've flown with many different airlines. What was your experience like? How were the employees? Did they, like, you know, was their persona a certain type of way? Can I fully be myself? Do I have to code switch? Do I have to keep a cookie cutter, or can I be like my full bubbly personality? I think that also goes in with who they're looking for too. So how to choose the right airline is definitely doing your research, going on their websites. When you do fly those airlines, just getting a feel of how their employees are, how, you know, is their service consistent? Like, is the hospitality consistent? I will say, every time I flew my airline, the hospitality was consistent. Okay, we keep it consistent. But yeah, I think that, oh, and another thing when choosing the airline, do you want to fly domestic? Do you want to do international flights? Do you know, are you okay with flying on flights that are 7 hours, or would you prefer flying shorter flights and, you know, doing those domestic trips? Like for me, I do not like long flights. I don't like 3+ hours. I'm sorry, I don't. I think starting off at a regional, it kind of spoiled me. But again, what I chose in my airline is the flexibility. In the long run, I wanted flexibility. I thought long term. I didn't really think right now. Yeah, you know, we only do some of the Caribbean and South America internationally. We're mainly a domestic airline, but guess what? On my off days, I can travel, and I want that flexibility in my schedule. I want to be myself. I want to be my bubbly personality and not feel like I have to dim my light. So when it comes to choosing the right airline for you, do your research. Go with what you are looking for, not what other people are telling you, or you know, just what you see on the daily basis. There's a lot of different airlines for everybody, so choose the best one for you. What are my favorite airports to get food? Honestly, I have 2 airports that come to mind. First off is Austin. Austin has food for everybody, whether you're a healthy eater, whether you are a healthy eater, or whether you know, you get down with the pizza and the burgers and the all that good stuff. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate Austin. I don't even know why I can't even think of this spot, but they have smoothies and wellness shots, and that's my cup of tea. Like every time I'm in Austin, I know I could get something. And then also Tampa has some really good seafood. Now for an airport, Tampa, if you want to get some seafood, yeah, I like Tampa a lot. It's a small airport. It's a very, very small airport, but I thought that they had good food for airport food. You know, like if I'm gonna spend the money in the airport, it gotta be good food. So definitely Tampa. And I'm trying to think, I would say DFW, only because DFW is so big, and I just feel like they also have a lot of different options in there too as well. They also have a Papados at the DFW airport. Like like what? Papados, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's another thought. And last question, when is the next, when are we flying together? Girl, I hope soon, girl. We gotta pick up a trip. We gotta pick up a trip. I see you though. I see you been flying. You've been doing your thing. This question was from my cohort Elide, and we worked at our previous airline together. We worked at SkyWest together. So hopefully soon, girly. But this honestly completes the Q&A video. If you have any more questions, please feel free to comment below. Please feel free to DM me. I'm a very friendly person, and you know, I like to extend opportunities. I can't personally extend you this opportunity, but I like to just put a little bug in people's ear, because I honestly thought that I was stuck at first. I do have a college degree, but also like when you don't go into your major after college, you kind of feel stuck, or you just don't really know what you want to do. So I became a flight attendant, and this is honestly something that I love and I truly enjoy. So again, if you have any other questions, feel free to comment below. I don't mind doing another Q&A. I don't mind talking to you one-on-one personally. It's your girl Tiara Brian, and don't you forget it, go ahead and subscribe to this channel and follow me on Instagram at Tiara Brian, the same name as my YouTube channel, just so we can keep up with each other on a day-to-day basis. I like putting a face to a name like all the time. And peace, you guys. Love y'all.